Live from WJZ, this is breaking news.
Breaking tonight at 11 o'clock, new video of Luigi Mangione, the Maryland native arrested today in Pennsylvania, now facing a charge of murder in New York City, where he will soon be extradited. Welcome to the news at 11, everyone. I'm Rick Ritter. We have been following a wave of developments since this news broke today, and tonight, Mangione has been charged with murder in New York City for the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Pennsylvania State Police say Mangione was recognized and arrested at a McDonald's in Altoona this morning. They believe he was likely crossing Pennsylvania, trying to keep a low profile and also avoid surveillance cameras after being suspected of shooting and killing the CEO. Mangione, a lot of local ties, the valedictorian of the Gilman School class of 2016, and a member of the prominent Mangione family in our area. Owners of country clubs, real estate firms, and more. And he's even related to one of Maryland's state delegates, Nino Mangione. Tonight, Delegate Nino Mangione, who does represent part of Baltimore County, released a statement on behalf of the family, reading in part, quote, "We only know what we have read in the media. Our family is shocked and devastated by Luigi's arrest. We offer our prayers to the family of Brian Thompson, and we ask people to pray for all involved." We are on your corner with live team coverage tonight at 11 o'clock. Dennis Valera standing by with local reaction from one of Mangione's former schoolmates. But let's begin with Tara Lynch, looking closer at the suspect's deep and extensive ties to our area. Tara, good evening.
Rick, good evening. You mentioned it. It's just been a really constant wave of information since this story broke. I'm in Cockeysville at the Hayfields Country Club, one of the several things that the Mangione family owns. In fact, they've just lived down this street here. The search for a killer, of course, spanned many days. It crossed state lines, but now that person of interest in custody, Luigi Mangione, was spotted at a McDonald's in Altoona. A customer recognized him from the photos that the New York City Police Department had been putting out all week long. That tip was then called in, and when officers arrived and asked Mangione to remove his surgical face mask, they recognized him right away.
He has been identified as Luigi Nicholas Mangione. He's a male, 26 years old. He was born and raised in Maryland.
A major development in the manhunt for a killer. 26-year-old Luigi Mangione was arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania at a McDonald's just after 9 o'clock Monday morning. The Maryland native is a member of the prominent Mangione family in the Cockeysville area and is related to Republican delegate Nino Mangione. A customer recognized him as the person of interest in the Manhattan murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, alerted the restaurant employees, who then called the police.
Our fellow Pennsylvania resident, who acted as a hero today, Pennsylvania resident saw something early this morning at McDonald's and said something to our local police.
Court records show when officers arrived, Mangione was wearing a blue face mask. When asked to pull it down, officers immediately recognized him and asked if he had been to New York City recently.
And that really invoked a physical reaction from the suspect. He became visibly nervous, kind of shaking.
Police say Mangione provided a fake New Jersey license, the same ID he used to stay at a hostel recently. According to court records, when officers asked about the fake ID and if he was lying, Mangione said, quote, "I clearly shouldn't have." Police say officers recovered a backpack with a loaded 3D printed pistol and a silencer, as well as other electronics and writings against corporate America.
And so all of that is becoming kind of a mountain of evidence that has to be analyzed and looked at.
Mangione was arraigned and held Monday night. He faces forgery, false identification, and firearms charges. Police say he was initially cooperative, but is not now. New York City police investigators say additional information will be released later this week.
The message is very clear. Police Commissioner Tish's police department will find you and bring you to justice.
Police still taking tips in this case. If you know anything about it, you are encouraged to reach out to Pennsylvania State Police, New York City Police, your local police department. Right now, Mangione is being held at a state prison in central Pennsylvania. It's unclear when he will be extradited, but the headline tonight, a Maryland native charged with murder in New York City after allegedly killing the CEO of United Healthcare. I do want to send this over to Dennis Valera. He's standing by at the Gilman School. And Dennis, I understand that you spoke to a classmate of his, that one of your friends actually went to school with Luigi Mangione.
Yes, Tara, good evening. That's right. One of my very good friends graduated with Mangione here from Gilman in 2016. He never would have imagined one of his classmates would be tied to such a crime. It's the same sentiment here in the Roland Park neighborhood. For the 119th Founders Day, Gilman School's class of 2016 was honored. Valedictorian Luigi Mangione gave a speech.
The class of 2016 is truly defined by its inventive, pioneering mentality that accompanies a strong commitment to Gilman tradition.
Celebrating his class.
It's been an incredible journey, and I simply can't imagine the last few years with any other group of guys.
One of his classmates, James Sandberg, didn't know him too well, but Sandberg never thought Mangione would make headlines.
I found out because someone sent me the article, was shocked, thought it was maybe a different Luigi Mangione.
Especially for something related to the death of a major health insurance CEO. In a statement, Gilman School says it doesn't know any more than what's been reported by police. It partly reads, "This is deeply distressing news on top of an already awful situation. Our hearts go out to everyone involved." Off camera, several neighbors and current Gilman students described how surprised they were to hear a Gilman grad be involved in something like this. Sandberg says he's still processing it all.
110 or so is my graduating class. I'm not sure what it ranges at now, but we all knew each other. I wasn't particularly close with him, but I knew of him. I knew him somewhat well. He was a nice kid.
Mangione's last known address was in Hawaii. After graduating from Gilman here, he went on to attend University of Pennsylvania, where he graduated in 2020. Reporting live on your corner in Roland Park, I'm Dennis Valera for WJZ.
Dennis and Tara, thank you both for your coverage tonight. We'll have more coming up on this story in just a bit. Let's turn to the weather now. Mostly clear skies, but after rain this morning, we're expecting more coming our way as the week continues. First Alert Weather Chief Meteorologist Derek Beasley joins us now with a look at your forecast and what you need to know for the morning. Derek?
Well, Rick, looks like fog's going to be the big issue here for tomorrow morning. So the rain that we had this morning is long gone. We do have more on the way, though. But let me show you what's going on right now, temperature-wise. Relatively mild compared to where we've been at this time the past several nights. We're at 48 right now in Baltimore, 52 for Westminster. But notice the visibility beginning to drop in some areas, around a half mile, a little bit less of that in some spots, down to about a half mile in Bel Air as well as Elkton. So again, fog is going to be the big issue tomorrow morning. It will be very thick in some spots. Make sure you now allow some extra time for your morning commute tomorrow. But it should be burning off here by the time we get towards 8, 9 o'clock. And then we have rain in the forecast after 2 o'clock tomorrow, continuing through the evening rush hour. Looks like Wednesday is going to be wet as well. We'll talk more about your complete forecast here, which includes another round of cold temperatures and, of course, a sneak peek at what to expect here for the upcoming weekend. It's in your First Alert forecast in just a few minutes. Rick, we'll send it back over to you.
All right, Derek, thank you. It has been 4 days since a massive fire at Camp Small in the Woodbury area. And tonight, the Baltimore City Fire Department still monitoring that area. The fire at the wood recycling facility broke out Thursday evening and burned throughout the night. WJZ was first at the scene, continues to bring you the latest coverage on this. That fire impacted the surrounding community, but today, Western Poly and Medfield schools were both back in session. One lane of North Point Road remains closed tonight as crews remain on the scene after concrete came loose from a railroad bridge in East Baltimore and then struck a car driving below it. It happened yesterday morning around 11:30. The driver of that car fortunately suffered only non-life-threatening injuries. Officials from Amtrak and the City Department of Transportation now assessing the integrity of the bridge. On your corner in Baltimore County tonight, an update about a deadly shooting in Towson. We first told you about at noon. Police have now identified a 19-year-old victim as Andrew Blessing. He was found with a gunshot wound at the scene in the 900 block of Beaver Bank Circle around 2:30 this morning. So far, no arrests have been made, but police do tell us they believe Blessing was targeted. And another story we're following tonight, John Carroll High School in Bel Air closed today after reports of more than 10 individuals coming in sick. Firefighters and EMS crews came out to that school right around noon today. They said they treated patients and investigating a potential cause. That school was evacuated for a time as investigators looked for, quote, unknown conditions in the building that may have been the cause. And children and staff at Cradle Rock Elementary, right in Howard County, have now been hit with what school and county leaders are calling a gastrointestinal illness. Those symptoms we know included vomiting, diarrhea, nausea, fever, abdominal cramps as well. Gastrointestinal illnesses can spread quickly through person-to-person contact as well as surface contamination. They are urging frequent hand washing with soap and water, also cleaning and disinfecting high-contact surfaces like doorknobs, countertops, light switches. And they are saying if you have any symptoms like these, stay home. Coming up after the break on WJZ News at 11 o'clock, allegations of sexual assault hit another huge hip-hop star. More on what Jay-Z is denying tonight and how the allegations are linked to Sean Diddy Combs. And Navy gets the bid for a major bowl game, but first, it's Army-Navy time. More on the historic rivalry coming up in just days and what you need to know for the matchup. And it's not just a delicacy, oysters helping bring the Chesapeake Bay back to life. What we know is the years-long cleanup gets a closer look in Annapolis tomorrow. Welcome back. Luigi Mangione, the suspected shooter in the Manhattan killing of United Healthcare CEO, is now in custody tonight and now facing a murder charge in New York, along with several other charges out of Pennsylvania, which is where he remains without bond tonight. Mangione, a Maryland native, arrested today after being recognized at a McDonald's in Altoona this morning. Police say he was found with a 3D printed ghost gun like the one used in the killing of the CEO last week. Tonight, Syrian communities all around the world celebrating the downfall of Bashar al-Assad, the dictator whose family ruled the nation for 50 years. A civil war that has lasted 13 years and a lightning offensive by rebels forced Assad from power, and tonight his whereabouts still unclear. Russia has not officially said anything in public, but state media said last night Assad and his family were granted asylum in Moscow. The rebels, known as HTS, listed by the U.S. as a terrorist group, the State Department says it hopes Syria can now move forward.
It is critical today that the Syrian people be the ones to define the path forward for their country. The United States is committed to working with the Syrian people as they define that path towards a brighter future.
Meanwhile, Israel's military says it carried out operations in Syrian territory, as well as at least 3 airstrikes on the nation's capital. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Sunday he ordered the military to take control of an area on the Syria side of the Israel-occupied Golan Heights. Israel says those airstrikes targeted weapon systems prevent them from falling into the hands of extremist groups. A New York City jury today acquitted Marine veteran Daniel Penny on a charge of criminally negligent homicide after that jury unable to reach a verdict on a manslaughter charge. As WJZ has been telling you, Penny was facing charges for putting Jordan Neely in a chokehold on a subway last year. Neely later died from that. Witnesses say Neely was acting erratic, and Penny's lawyers said he was protecting members of the public. A lawyer for Neely's family called the acquittal that is unfathomable, saying, quote, "We thought that system would be there for us, but it was not," end quote. Rapper Jay-Z denying allegations tonight that he and Sean Diddy Combs drugged and raped a woman some 25 years ago at a party. That allegation against Jay-Z, legal name Sean Carter, a new addition to a lawsuit filed against Combs back in October. The accuser says she was 13 at the time of that alleged assault. Carter is the first celebrity to be accused by a name of sexual assault in connection to Combs. Carter has called that claim an attempt at blackmail. Well, the long effort to clean up the Chesapeake Bay, nearby waterways relying heavily on oysters. The shellfish, not just a delicacy for diners, but they play a crucial role in the ecosystem. The Chesapeake Bay Foundation says 10 years ago, Maryland and Virginia each committed to restoring the populations and reef habitats, trying to counterfact the effects of decades of destructive harvesting techniques that then cut oyster populations to a fraction of their historical size. The foundation now says it is hoping to beat those goals ahead of the deadline next year, boosted by recent orders issued by Virginia's governor.
We were excited to see a focus on these holistic and science-based objectives. So for looking at living resources, looking at increased water quality monitoring.
Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin says he and other leaders set to talk over progress at an executive meeting in Annapolis tomorrow. Let's bring back in Chief Meteorologist Derek Beasley as we jump back to the weather now. We had some rain today, and you're saying fog is going to be the issue in the morning.
Yeah, the morning commute is going to be a little dicey just because of the thick fog, but looks like more rain's in the forecast here. We desperately need it, but could affect your evening commute. So let's get right to it and show what we're watching here over the next 48 hours or so. And again, tonight, the dense fog is going to start developing here shortly. It already has in some spots, but it's going to get thicker as the night goes on. And then it looks like tomorrow afternoon, I'd say after about 2 or 3 o'clock, we'll start to see some of these light showers making their way back into the region. Better chances, though, tomorrow night and into Wednesday as the main storm system approaches the area. It's also going to get a little breezy, too, both ahead of the cold front and then behind it as it begins pulling some of that colder air into the region here by Wednesday night and into Thursday. First alert Doppler radar is dry right now, but temperatures across the area, as I mentioned, into the mid to upper 40s, lower 50s. Westminster right now, one of the warm spots on the map. But you can see some of these select locations now have started to drop in visibility. A little closer inspection here shows that some spots are seeing visibilities now down to less than a half mile, and that's going to be the issue. As Futurecast shows, by about 2 o'clock in the morning, we're going to start to see more locations with dense fog, and then it becomes really widespread by sunrise and a little bit after that. So again, for your morning commute, just allow a little extra time for wherever you're headed, and also, of course, take precautions, slow down, and of course, allow enough space between you and the car in front of you. But you can see the gray area there is where we're expecting the best chance for some fog. That's going to be after about 2 o'clock in the morning, continuing to about 7 or 8. And then the little green patches here show the chances for rain that will be increasing across our area. Now, there's the rain that we had this morning exiting New England at the present time. But here's our next round of rain that's just off to our south, and this will continue expanding and spreading northward as time goes on. So tomorrow, 50% chance for some showers later in the day. 100% probability coming up on Wednesday, and then we're dry Thursday and Friday, and then we're going to be watching another system that's going to approach our area later Saturday into Sunday with a little better chance for rain then. So we've got a couple of opportunities here over the next week or so. So here's a look at your Futurecast. All the gray here, that's the fog in the morning. Now watch what happens. We're going to start getting some of these light showers sneaking into the area just after lunchtime. Then we'll see more widespread showers spread into our area by this time tomorrow night, maybe a little bit earlier than that. And then off and on showers will continue for the Wednesday morning commute. And then I think the best chance for soaking heavier rain will be midday Wednesday as the storm system moves over our area. And then it's going to move out very quickly. So after sunset on Wednesday, the rain's gone. And then we're going to be tracking more showers in the forecast here, as I mentioned, for the weekend. So again, temperatures for tomorrow, right around 59 degrees. So it'll be a mild. Temperatures will be in the 60s coming up on Wednesday. We do have a possible alert day here. That's for the possibility, of course, with that wet morning and evening commute. And then turns much colder, breezy and colder. It's 39 there on Thursday, but it's going to feel colder than that, down to 21 for Thursday night. We're in the 20s again Friday night, and then warming up as we head into the weekend. More rain, though, moving in late Saturday into Sunday. Rick?
All right, Derek, thank you. The Ravens back on the practice field fresh off the bye week. Wide receiver Deontay Johnson suspended. How much of a distraction is that for the team as they get ready for the Giants? Grace Grill has a report from the Ravens coming up in sports. First, Paris in Howard County, a quick look at what's on the menu for your child's lunch tomorrow. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Alex is here with sports. The bye week is over. Time to get back at it.
Bye week's over. Everyone's rested, relaxed. Now it's time to get back to work. But the Ravens back on the practice field today, fresh off that bye, ready to get to work. Health-wise, Ravens in a good place right now. Defensive back Sanusi Kane, the only player missing from practice today due to injury. But there was another player missing that John Harbaugh was asked about today. Grace Grill has a story from Owings Mills.
Yeah, Alex, well, there were a lot of faces back on the practice field today for the Baltimore Ravens, but wide receiver Deontay Johnson was not one of them, as he is currently serving a one-game suspension for refusing to enter the game against the Eagles. Ravens general manager Eric DeCosta put out a statement on the matter right before the Ravens went on their bye week, explaining what had happened, and also stated that there would be no further comment on the matter. But there are still questions, especially regarding Deontay Johnson's future in Baltimore and what kind of distraction this is for a team that is still very much in the playoff hunt. Some of the Ravens had this to say about the situation after practice today.
It ain't a distraction. I don't know. I don't really, that ain't my decision to make. Or that Deontay still going. He one of my guys. He one of our guys.
I think everybody in here grown men.
we all know we got a task at hand individually, so and he knows that too. We all aware of the situation, so hopefully we'll see him back next week.
So Deontay Johnson will not play Sunday against the Giants, and the Ravens are not taking any comments on the situation. They say that they are focused on what is in front of them, and right now, that is the New York Giants. Alex?
Thank you, Grace. And check this out. Fresh off the bye, a fresh new look for running back Derrick Henry. Cut his locks, and that's a hairstyle he's had before. He was even a freshman in Alabama. Going with the cornrows now. So Henry changes things up for the Ravens as they get ready for this final stretch of games. He is strictly business. And here's a quick look at the remaining schedule for the Ravens. Just 4 games left. The Ravens on the road to face the Giants this Sunday. That's the start of a stretch where they will play 3 games in 10 days before finishing off the regular season at home against the Browns. Rick, the Ravens, big favorites against this Giants team, but 1 game at a time.
1 game at a time, as they should be. This should be one in the bag, Hope. Yep. A lot going on these next couple weeks, though. Alex, thank you. The News at 11 continues right after this. Mark your calendars. We're now at the dates for some of Baltimore City's biggest events in the new year. Mayor Brandon Scott announcing Artscape will kick off the festival lineup. Artscape will be Memorial Day weekend. That's Saturday, May 24th and the 25th. We're also learning AFRAM will take place Saturday, June 21st and Sunday, the 22nd. Then the annual Baltimore Caribbean Festival going to take place Saturday, July 12th and the 13th. Finally, Charm City Live will close out the schedule September the 20th. Well, for the first time since 2019, the Navy midshipmen in a college football bowl game, a big bowl game. The Mids taking on a major powerhouse from the Southeastern Conference. The midshipmen and the Oklahoma Sooners accepted invitations to play in the 22nd Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. That is Friday, December 27th, right in Fort Worth, Texas. But before the bowl game, the Mids taking on Army in the 125th Army-Navy game this Saturday in Landover, Maryland. You can watch that game right here on WJZ at 3 p.m. Seems like just about every street you go down has a scooter or an e-bike sitting on the sidewalk. Well, now you can do your part to help those rentals from clogging up the roadways. Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott and the City Department of Transportation says you can now go ahead and report those to 311. Once they're reported to Lime or Spin, the companies must fix that parking issue within 24 hours. The goal is to increase safety for residents sharing the sidewalk and the road. So far this year, more than 1 million trips have been taken on scooters and e-bikes. More WJZ News at 11 right after this.
Tomorrow morning on WJZ, we're keeping an eye on more rain chances this week and colder temperatures.
And we'll have an update on the still smoldering Camp Small fire. Wake up with us.
Welcome back. Quick update on the big story we continue to follow all day and all night. New development as Luigi Mangione, member of the prominent local family and a graduate of Gilman High School and the University of Pennsylvania, now charged with murder in New York City. Suspected in the Manhattan killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, Mangione is now in custody in Pennsylvania. He was arrested today after being recognized at a McDonald's in Altoona this morning. Police said he was shaking when they were asking him certain questions. Police say he was found with a 3D printed ghost gun like the one used in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson last week. We're going to have much more and continuing coverage on WJZ News starting at 4:30 tomorrow morning and, of course, online at CBS News Baltimore. And coming up on an all-new Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Billy Crystal, tonight's guest. For all of us here at WJZ, I'm Rick Ritter. Thank you for watching all day long. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Until then, have a great night and stay safe.